Hey guys, it's Childish, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're bringing you guys episode 2 of the Ultimate Tier List series for 2026, featuring AdoGuado and Yimms. For those of you guys that didn't get a chance to catch the first video, our first episode featured the water element for element Fission, and now we're going to be bringing you guys the fire element series. So again, if you guys didn't get a chance to check out, in the comments section down below, as well as the description, we'll have a link for you guys for every single monster that there is in the game. So if you're looking for a specific monster, you can go ahead and check it out right below. You can get right to it without wasting any time. So again, guys, thanks again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys all in the next one. Take care.
Thank you very much, Childish, for that introduction, and it's great to be back again. I am, of course, AdoGuado, and with me is Yim.
Thanks for having me.
Mate, it's
Good to be here.
It's definitely great to have you back, and we've had lots of great feedback on that the last video. So let's just keep rocking and rolling. And one thing that we might need to address, perhaps, is the criteria which we are using to compile these tier lists. So perhaps we could explain a little bit to the community, because there's of course a difference between the many tiers of players. You've got beginner players, mid-game, end-game. So yeah, in terms of the criteria, how are we rating these monsters?
Right, so with Element Fission, lots of monsters are useful. There's very few that you're not going to find a use for, even if they are niche. So basically, the bottom tier is the only tier that we're like not recommending you build. No recommended use, essentially. So if it's in C tier, that's the only tier that you gotta be complaining about in the comments.
Yeah.
But B tier and up, everything is usable. We're just gonna try and rank things relative according to other mon's strength. We're gonna weight the Nat 5s a bit higher. Even if they don't have PvE use. But for the Nat 4s, we're going to weight the PvE use a little bit higher than we would with the Nat 5s.
Great, that sounds like a plan to me. And thank you to Fission Hub, to Reverse, who is a huge contributor to this game. Thank you very much. I'm actually using his Element Fission wiki as we speak, just in case there's some monsters that I've forgotten what they do because I built them so long ago. But yeah, basically, never a better time to join Fission Hub, because there's essentially a relic hunt going on where you can submit your unique relics, and if no one seems to have found them yet prior to that, we're reaching different milestones, and we've reached some pretty decent milestones and got some rewards in the form of codes. So basically, if you go to the Fission Hub website, you will find those codes waiting for you on the back of other people's hard work, and if you happen to have some relics that haven't been found yet on the wiki, you can contribute to the last tier, which I believe the main prize there is a power bean. So I'd all love to meet that one. So without further ado, I think we start with the list, and the first monster that we're going to have a look at is the Fire Assassin. Tell us what you think about this beast.
Well, Fire Assassin is extremely strong, very unique. He reduces everyone else's healing while increasing his own, and then he does damage based on his lost HP. And he does a little self-damage by guaranteeing a dot on himself and his target if he crits.
Yep.
And so that's a pretty strong combination there. And he also gets a shield when he uses his S2 nuke. So he even has some survivability.
Absolutely. So yeah, definitely a very valuable mon, and something that I use quite frequently. Where would you put this one?
Well, there's no PvE use, but there's it's very strong in PvP. So I think we got to start out with an S.
Whoa. Okay. Well, we're once again somewhere near the middle at least, and we can ascertain whether or not it things are higher than it or things are lower than it, and we can obviously adjust the list as we go along. But yeah, S tier sounds pretty much right to me in my experience. It's a bit of a beast, highly usable. Okay, so next we have another humble 3-star, but something that you'll see quite often popping up in the game, and has quite a lot of utility. What are your thoughts on the Fire Sharpshooter?
A great mon for PvE. You're probably going to want to build it for the tree dungeon,
Death Lab, and also in some of the Abyss and I guess just the Abyss dungeons. None of the Mental Fortress ones.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's usable in both though, right? Like it's kind of got a bit of PvP aspect to it as well with the, as we mentioned before with the water one, it's got an elemental speed lead for fire. So not only does it do great damage, I think there's people building a couple of these on different builds, and some people are even running 2 through the same dungeon. So definitely very usable.
Very, definitely, yeah. And even you could use it as a farmer if you wanted to, but there's no real reason to do that.
I guess if you haven't pulled a water gyro yet, you might benefit from that for a little while.
I think this probably an A.
An A tier. All right, let's chuck it in A. Here we go. Excellent. That can sit up there. This is our first Nat 5 that's just turned up on our randomly populated list. This is the Mr. Barbarian. Interesting mechanic. Everyone knows how annoying this is in that tunnel level. I think that tunnel level's probably the most famous one with all the different barbs. Yeah, so definitely annoying as an enemy. How do you find it as something that to use?
So it's pretty good. It can be used to counter some water monsters on defense. When you place it on defense, it can be pretty strong. The self-healing's nice. You don't have to run it on Vamp, but it can definitely do some damage. The passive helps it survive, and then so you can just build it at full damage.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit of a beast, but it's not... I wouldn't be putting it super high on the list in my experience, because it's a little niche. Like, it doesn't have a ton of uses, but I'm sure, once again, in the community, you'll have people who are in love with their fire barb. So, but as a balanced opinion, where do you think this one sits on the list?
Well, there's no PvE, but I think it probably an A.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And I think that's about right. It does cause, it's a bit of a menace in some situations. So, never underestimate. I guess you never underestimate the opponent in general, but particularly if you see one of these, do tread carefully. So next, look, we talked a little bit in the last video about the water turtle tank in combination with the Fire Sphere Sage, which is coming up, and next we obviously have part of that particular team, which is the Fire Bookworm, and based on true damage. So it might be important not only to rate this mon, but to talk to people about how you gear it, because it's different to you gear it a little differently to what you would the tree one, for instance.
Right. Yeah. So with this one, you definitely want to wait. So the reason you use it with the Fire Sphere Sage, like you said, and Fire Sphere gives additional damage based on the unit's attack. So attack is weighted much higher in this team composition as opposed to crit damage. Now, that doesn't mean crit damage doesn't affect the damage. It does. And so if as much crit damage as you can get is good. But the thing is, you don't really need much crit rate, because you have a crit rate leader skill with the Sphere Sage, and then you have a crit rate buff with the Water Turtle. So that's a free 63% crit rate. So, but the thing is, it's not gonna, like, if you build it with a little bit of crit, then it's not always gonna crit. So you're still weighting attack higher than you would a normal damage dealer, but you're still trying to get as much crit damage as you can.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you just see teams getting wiped by this mon. So obviously, the tricky thing with one of these is it really is a staple. It's a very important mon for a lot of people, and for particularly people who have this arena offense team. I hesitate as to where to put it, because I can't really think of too many other uses other than the PvP type aspect that we've talked about.
There is a guild versus guild team. I use it in speed clearing tunnel to get rid of those pesky water popos.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Interesting. Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess the next question is where do we put it then? It's yeah.
I mean, the S3 also ignores buffs, which is an insanely powerful part of the skill. I think if we're putting Fire Assassin in S, we got to put the Bookworm in S as well.
Excellent, and I don't think we're going to get too much argument there. I think there'll be people will be nodding their head while sipping a coffee watching this video. Okay, another very solid Mon, a 3-star, very buildable. I've built many of them. This is the Fire Dome Fighter. Yeah, what a beast.
Yeah, great unit. People have been using this since the beginning of the game in double dome teams. Nowadays, double domes isn't so usable in the high end, but it's still the most commonly used dome for just nuking things.
Yep.
Very strong in that regard. So no real PvE use, but a solid 3-star. Definitely want to build one of these.
Yep, and just for the newer players, obviously this is a defense-based damage unit. How would you build this one?
Yeah, either defense, crit damage defense, or speed, crit damage defense. And set doesn't really matter so much. You just want to max out the defense and crit stats. Yep.
Absolutely. You can do a pretty nifty thing depending on if you want to be a bit cheeky. You can double zeal it, which means that it doesn't get stunned when it does its first massive attack on something. But obviously if you take it in with the Tree Pumpkin, which is a pretty common unit to be taking it in with, I'm talking territory specifically, you can use the Tree Pumpkin's special second skill to unstun it. So it's not necessarily a biggie, but it might throw some people if you do that.
Yeah, people are turned off by the self-stun, but you can counteract it with zeal or, just team composition.
Yep, absolutely. So where do we chuck her?
I'm feeling like A is probably good.
Okay, sure. Just given like how usable it is, and I can't speak for those really high tier territory wars, but just given how usable it is and the fact that I've built multiples of them, in my world it would probably live in an S tier, but again it doesn't have any PvE use, so I'm happy with it being in A, but just don't underestimate this unit and build lots of them. This tier list doesn't mean you should build this and not build others. This is purely about utility. If you've got something that has a lot of utility in a lot of different areas, it's like, chuck it up the top, because no doubt you're going to build this. But as I said, I've built about 3 or 4 of these, and I use them most territory wars.
Sure, yeah. And the thing is, it's really just that. It's basically just territory war that you're using it. So it's great for that, though.
Yep, absolutely. So build. All right, so the next one is a fire puppet. Now this famously, and you can correct me if there's a lot of other uses, but I think famously it can be used with the water monk. It has some really weird utilities because it's an unusual skill. Yeah, what do you think about the puppet?
I tend to use it with a Dark Joker because they tend to hang out at very low HP, and then you can just swap to the opponent to very low HP.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, I like that. Fantastic. I guess I was trying to think of things that didn't quite die, and the Dark Joker is so meta and all over the place. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep. It's also one of the few units that can heal Firebear through his passive.
Yeah.
The swap HP doesn't count as healing him, so it happens immediately.
Gotcha.
Instead of waiting for him to take his turn.
Gotcha. Yep. Look, good unit, but nevertheless niche. As a new player, I don't think it'd be the first thing that you're building, but where would you put it on the list?
The thing about it is, if you're a new player and your units are squishy and they take 2 hits to die, well, if they take 1 hit and then you use a swap, then you can kill the opponent's hit. So maybe it's something, but you are right. It's probably not going to be your first target.
Yep. Yeah, so where do we put this one on the list? A little bit confusing.
Yeah, probably A.
You reckon A? Okay, let's do that. And the other award that this whole family wins, this, and I'm referring to the puppet family, is the most in need of a transmog mon in any game ever. So, that's kudos to that as well. So maybe it should be bumped up the tier list for that, because it is just so terrible.
It's an acquired taste.
Indeed. So the next one should need no introduction to anyone who's been playing the game for maybe a couple of weeks, a few weeks, something like that. And that, of course, is the Fire Gunslinger with a very, very clutch passive. What do you think of this, Mon?
So I don't use him really as much as I never really have as much as some people would expect. He is, recognizable, his skill set, you understand what's going on there. But he just doesn't quite feel as good as you would expect him to. And so I haven't used him that much, but I know people that fully invest in him and they love him. It's tons of turn cycling. There are definitely teams that utilize him in PvE, so I can't say that he is not great. I happen to not use him very much.
Okay. Obviously, a little bit, and I don't want to get too obsessed with base speed because that's not the main thing of the game. But you can do trick defenses where you put him very fast. No one expects him to be fast because he's got a base speed of like 89 or something. But if you're able to build it fast, it can trick some people, and he will attack bar fill everyone. So you've got uses like that. But obviously, famously, he's used in the metal team. I think that's where you first build him. I think he might be given away as a freebie, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I was there, but I think that's what happens. And if you're early game, I think you almost certainly build this.
Yeah, I know a lot of people's first teams for that dungeon utilize him, so can't deny its impact.
Indeed. So where do we put the Fire Gunslinger?
Probably S for the. I also use him in Guild Boss. He's good for that. Like,
yep.
There's a few mons that are just perfect for Guild Boss, and he's one of them. So,
absolutely,
I think for that reason, that kind of elevates him.
Yeah, because
that's going to be used until the end of till the end game.
And if I'm not mistaken, I can just check stats here. He's got the so he's got the 25 speed lead in dungeons, which means that they're basically telling you they do throughout. Obviously, if you follow the tutorials in general, which is the missions, they do kind of give you some pointers as to how to perhaps do your first clears of dungeons, and this is the one that they give away for free for that, and it certainly does a very solid job. Okay, the Fire Bear, a really unique and interesting passive. You'll see this all the time in defenses, but also if you spy on people during territory, you do see it used in offenses as well. I don't know too much utility in the PvE aspect, but definitely a very clutch mon, which is, it's a build. You do build this mon. There's no two ways about it. Where would you put this beast and why?
Yeah, like you said, I can't think of any PvE use, so probably A. He's very strong though. Absolutely love Fire Bear.
Yep, he's a beast. He's a beast. Actually, and for the newer players, how do you build this one? Because in this game, accuracy and resistance matters, right?
Correct. Yeah. There's definitely people that build bears that are just pure HP, crit damage, HP, and they're just trying to nuke with him. Mm-hmm. But if you're having him on defense, a lot of people will build him HP crit damage resistance. And just try to never ever get a debuff on him so you can't deal with him. Yep.
Okay, so this one, I'm not going to screw up the name. I did last time. This is the Ant Cannon. It's just confusing as hell, man. It's confusing. So the Fire Ant Cannon. Tell us a little bit about your experience with this one.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's been a little bit of a Fire Ant Cannon revival recently. I know some people tried them out at the early game.
Yep.
And with the new Relic dungeon releases, Reverse has pioneered a new team using him and the Water Twin to just basically clear the waves and do a bunch of damage to the boss. So yeah, he's pretty good. He can do a defense break and an attack break on every single hit.
Yes.
And he has an AoE skill too, so that's a pretty good combo.
And that's mostly thanks to the, I believe it's a passive. It is. On each attack, remove one buff from the target, which is already OP. If the target's attack is higher than yours, which pretty much all bosses are, it does attack down. And if the target's defense is higher than yours, then you inflict defense down. So basically, it's almost like don't build stats, build HP, make it survivable, give it accuracy.
Right.
And it's a beast, right?
Exactly.
Can you see it being revived in any other usage, such as PvP, or is it purely for this dungeon?
Yeah, I can see it. Kind of almost. I mean, I shouldn't say this, but almost exclusively with Water Twinblade, just because of that always defense breaking passive, which is very useful for the Water Twin, whatever he's hitting. And it can also get multiple turns in a row with the skill 1, so that means the Water Twin just keeps teaming up every time.
Which, wow, that's toxic, isn't it?
Yeah, so that kind of RNG on a defense can sometimes just win.
Yes.
And so I can see it sticking around.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so in light of this new, it might have been sitting in a B or C. Is that kind of still where it's at, maybe a B, or are you going to push it up a little bit?
Well, it's I haven't seen it a lot, so I think for now we got to go B. But yep. I think you're right that it's a sleeper that's just waking up.
Yep, and it's nice to see those things. Things happen in the meta. New content's released. Things get buffs. And then obviously things become more relevant, and that happens all the time. So you really have to have your finger on the pulse. Otherwise, you can miss metas completely, and I guess that's what a meta's about. Okay, let's move to another humble 3-star, the Fire Gyreleon.
So I know that there's people that use him for the attack barb and attack buff.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you why or what situations he's good in.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I don't really have much to say about it.
Yeah, look, its base speed is 95, I believe. Yep, it's an initiator type, which means that it goes up to 100 base speed, which is not all that entirely slow compared to some of the mons that are out there as initiators. So I could see why they might do it. Also having a little bit of like a restore, like a healing function on skill 2 with immunity. I could see it being usable, but it's not something that I jump to. So yeah, interesting to hear from the community as to whether someone's just in love with this mon and this is the way to go.
I think he could use a buff on the S1. I think a 1-turn incurable is almost worthless.
I agree.
Like if it's not 2-turn, why is it even there? But I guess you could go B.
I'll maneuver this one into the B column, and if there's anyone who's kicking and screaming, please let us know. Okay, no introduction needed for this one either. This is the Fire Hog Chef. What are your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, well, it's a very commonly used unit for quite a few different things.
Yep.
In Guild vs. Guild. You could also use it in Arena.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that much PvE use, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's a great booster. You know, any booster that gives an attack buff and 100% bar is very usable. Probably an A for this.
Okay, excellent. I'm glad you said that because I do like it. Although this is happening again, man. We're getting all these monsters stuck in the middle of the bell curve. So let's see if we can do anything about that. The Fire Man-at-Arms.
Fireman is an extremely strong PvP mon.
Yep.
No real PvE, but you know that's pretty common. I think I want to say he's a double S.
Yeah.
And that's not just because you just brought up the bell curve, but
Yep. Man, you're a showman, aren't you? This is actually a C tier. Now, look, I completely agree with you. It's just a beast. It gives itself immunity, you know, pretty much every second turn or something ridiculous. It's second or third turn. It's really a very good. That skill 3 does so much damage if you've got it built right.
Yeah, absolutely. And these days, a lot of people are building it with ambush, so it's ignoring defense as well.
Yep, that would be highly annoying. Yep, I can see that. So yeah, so let's get our first one into the double S tier. Welcome to the party, Man-at-Arms. And so yeah, basically, if you've got it, build it, no questions. Next one is the Fire Popo Rider, which looks very similar to the Hog Chef. So we've been through this, haven't we? It just looks like their pose is slightly different. One zoomed a bit more. So maybe they're sisters or something. Fire Popo is a really good, unique 3-star and obviously used in a lot of content. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, she's fantastic. If you're early game, that 120 base speed does so much for you. It allows you to just focus on, you know, getting some tankiness and accuracy, which she obviously needs.
Yep.
But you can also kind of give her some crit damage, while at the same time maintaining your speed tuning because her base speed's so high.
Yep.
So I still use her for my farming, for my dungeon team in the Fire and Dark dungeons.
Yep.
She's absolutely goated there.
Yep.
Dare I say S?
Yep. Look, that's the thing. She is useful in so many areas, I feel. She is, she does a very unique thing. I mean, Tunnel as well, let's not forget, a very staple unit in Tunnel. It's just, there's no two questions. If you build it, well, it's almost like you can't not build it. I think that this is a really, really solid unit, and I think it's, a must build. If you've got some spare cartridges kicking around and you're like, what should I build next? You will not regret building this mon.
Yeah, for certain tunnel stages, she is a must build for new players.
Yep. So, did you say yes, did you?
I did, yeah.
Excellent. It's nice to see a 3-star up there in the in the S category. Okay, the next one, I know you're a big fan. I just actually built mine properly. It does have a decently high stat requirement compared to his tree brother, as I think you've pointed out. But what a machine.
Yeah, so unlike the tree one, he needs accuracy and attack.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the tree one's super easy because you can just build it on attack.
Yep.
But I do think he's absolutely worth the build. It's kind of crazy how many defenses he counters right now. The main thing being his passive, where if the opponent tries to cleanse a bomb, it explodes instead, and that doesn't count for just him. So if you bring a second bomber, counts for their bombs too. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Do you see any utility in any other area other than PvP?
No, bombs aren't useful basically anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can. Yeah, you can't bomb tunnel bosses, so there goes that.
Yep. So awesome at what it does, but limited use in, but yeah, obviously I don't want to talk badly about this mod. It's really good. Where would you put it?
Yeah, I want to say double S, but that might seem too high though for just how limited its use is.
Yep.
It's just guild versus guild.
Yep.
But like, I mean, you could build 10 of them and use all 10 of them every single time, basically.
Let's chuck it in S for the time being, and I'll tell you why. We will be adjusting these lists once we've done all of the elements, and we'll kind of take on feedback from the community. When people think something needs to be bumped or dropped, we will certainly consider it. And there's already a couple that we're considering from that last tier list, maybe bumped up or bumped down. And I think that'll be clearer once we have all of the elements and basically combine them. It'll be much clearer. But also we're relying on your feedback to also let us know what you think. You might have uses for things that we haven't thought of, possibly. So yeah, please feel free to comment, because that's what keeps this community alive, and that's what's so great about this community is we all share, and just like the stone sharpens a knife, man sharpens man. We all sharpen each other, and that's the reason we all get better. So please feel free to comment. All right, but having said that. Next, we have the Fire Occult Dancer. Let us know what you reckon on this beast.
So this is a mon that I had ignored for a long time.
Okay.
And then a buddy of mine built one, put it on defense, and it got a lot of defense wins before somebody could finally clear it.
And is that to do with the mechanic where it extends buffs and all that type of stuff that it does?
Well, it's the combination of being of having a heal,
mm-hmm.
extending the buffs,
yep,
and then being able to do pretty good damage on the skill 3. And so,
yep,
the heal doesn't require you to build it any certain way. It's
yep.
It's a flat 20% heal for each ally, 20% of their HP, and so you can. It does HP based damage on the skill 3, so you can just absolutely make this thing cracked and tanky. And so, you put it on a defense that works, and it does its job.
Yep, and that skill 3 has a defense break as well, doesn't it? So I think originally people were using this in a dungeon. It was Death Lab, wasn't it?
Yes, for the multi-hit, yep.
Yep, multi-hits, defense break. So even early game, still very relevant, worth the build, and I did use this for quite some time in that regard. And I still use it. This PvP usage is news to me, and I'm really excited to check that out, man, because that sounds very interesting, and it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So basically, you might see me use it in the next territory war or something along those lines.
Boy, you've been saying that a lot.
Well, this is the thing. Since our last tier list, I've actually, I think I've been testing a few more things, and absolutely, this is a really helpful tier list regardless of where you're at in the game. I think beginners, mid-game, even end gamers will get some ideas, even if it's just a refresher course, because there's so many mons and you just forget, you kind of forget what their utility is because you kind of get focused on what is meta. But obviously meta moves, and you can either be part of following the meta or you can be part of creating it.
That's right, yep, absolutely.
So where would you put this Occult Dancer?
I'm going to say A, because it has both PvE and PvP use, and it's pretty good at both. Excellent.
Okay, the very annoying Fire Ninrat. What an annoying one to fight against sometimes.
Oh man, I tell you what, there's times where you just get caught in Fire Ninrat hell. That's what I call it. Where you just can't kill him, and you're not dying, but you just can't kill him.
No, you're absolutely right. And from memory, it says, when attacked, you have a 20% chance to evade. Now, when you say percent, my understanding is that is out of 100. There is no way that this is just evading 1 in 5 attacks. It feels like it's evading about 4 in 5 attacks.
So here's the part that everyone forgets. And you can evade a lethal attack once per turn.
Yes.
And apparently that means that he just gets 1 lethal evade per turn. Like, that's it. So it's not a 20% chance. It's a 20% on top of the lethal.
Right.
So if you're not doing lethal damage, then it's 20%. But if you're doing lethal, then it's a guaranteed evade. And so people are raging because it's 20%. It's not actually 20%. But it's once you understand that, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's why I can't kill him.
Yep. What a pain. So yeah, like definitely used in your PvP, and it's very successful what it does. So the speed lead obviously can be used in conjunction with other fire units. I mean, obviously you don't want to go single element because of the fact that you do become vulnerable to the water element. But if you use it in with something else that's maybe this is the fire gyro partner, or this is the for the fire hog chef with a third different element potentially. But yeah, the speed lead definitely makes it pretty usable. Where would you put this on the list?
Yeah, I haven't really heard of somebody using it in tunnel to like cheese a stage.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like there's probably some cheese that could be done with this unit.
Yep.
So maybe somebody can tinker around with that. But other than that, it's basically just annoyance on PvP defenses. It's one of those, something's always going to go wrong using him on offense. It feels like, but very strong on defense, so I would put him in A. Yep.
Excellent. And I concur with that. It's a beast, and it just goes to show A tier is certainly not, it's definitely still build in my opinion. There's not many mons you don't build. Most of them have relevance somewhere. Now I think we might have touched on this unit in the last video. Obviously the 33% speed lead, and when I said with the water sphere sage and the light assassin being the other two, and the reason I said 8% more is obviously because the next tier down has got 25% speed leads. This unit, I use it all the time. It's got a revive on it, a passive revive. So as long as you're not stunned when you take your turn, it will bring something back. It doesn't bring itself back, but it will bring something else back. So yeah, I find a lot of utility with this unit in that specific area, given that it's a 33% arena speed lead, of course. Yeah, how do you feel about this unit?
Yeah, it's one of 3 33 leads, and one of those is a light unit, so not very attainable for most people.
Yep.
So this is definitely a key unit, the better 33, if you will.
Yep.
And so for that reason, we gotta rate it pretty highly. There's really no PvE use. I mean, if you're desperate in tunnel or something, it might work out for you. But yeah, at least an A. You think it's worth an S?
Look, I'll tell you, I've actually found a use for it.
Oh, have you?
Oh yes, I found a use for it. Woohoo! So obviously I use it in arena all the time. It's just my fave. But also, in the Abyss dungeon, and you're probably like, what? The Abyss dungeon? Are you kidding me? There's a boss, I've forgotten which one. It doesn't like taking multi-hits, and it kind of reacts pretty badly to that. So you take in a Twinblade, which you want to do, and the Twinblade dies.
Okay.
Just find out which one this is. It is the Scavenger Snail, and I believe there's an event on for this at the moment. So what I did is I front lined it and made it quite tanky. And I've got a Fire Gunslinger in this team. Fire Gunslinger, Light Robo, Water Nurse, obviously. Fire Clockwerk, which we'll get to. And then I've got the Fire Twinblade and the Water Twinblade. And the Water Twinblade does a butt ton of damage and then dies. And then suddenly, if you got the speed tuning right, it'll come back to life. And then because it's taken so much damage, you're in that state, you can definitely get good clears with a defense break. I love this unit for that. It is such a cool little team. So I've kind of shared that with the guild, and we've got a few people who are now utilizing it as well.
Well, that's awesome.
Yep, I love it. I love it. So, yeah, look, I don't want to overstate it too much. I do use this mon all the time. If I didn't have it, I would definitely do a lot worse in a lot of things, particularly Arena, which I do enjoy. I would like to bump this to S if possible.
Yeah, you gave me a reason to. There you go.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, try it out, man. It's a lot of fun.
All right. I do have a team built, but we'll see.
Yeah, just give it a crack, man. Just try it out. You know, the problem is, you have to save your profile. You have to go, okay, I'm going to save this team. Otherwise, you lose. You go, what was I using again? Because you can't see what the highest score, what your team was when you got your highest score. That is super annoying. But yeah.
Give us dungeon presets, Dad.
Yes, please. That would be fantastic. Or even when you look at the best score, it shows you what the team you used was. That would be enough. Like, that would be great. That would be at least a hint. You don't,
that would be good too,
yeah. So if the devs are listening, if they're listening 40-something minutes into this video, I applaud you for one thing. But yeah, also thanks very much for making such a great game. The Fire Electromancer.
Another great unit, just got a bit of a buff actually, and even stronger now. I used him quite often before, and I use him just as much now, and he does even better. So one of the few mons I have that I use in completely auto team, and that's the Tree Sorcerer, Light Bear, and Fire Electro. And you can use that against control and debuff teams, and basically just auto them to death.
Very cool. Very cool. A unique passive, obviously. So this does make this a bit of a special beast in a way. Yeah, look, it's I think I mentioned the 2 or 3 units I was missing from water last time, and unfortunately this is a fire one that I'm missing on my main account, which brings me to tears quite often. I can't sleep at night. So yes, basically I'm looking forward to getting one.
I bet.
Yeah. So I'll have to take your word on this. I haven't had any real testing with this, but I just know what it's capable of, and I'm looking forward to pulling my first one.
Yep. I have actually used it in Tunnel to back when I was rather new. I don't remember what I used it for, but I do remember that it was pretty clutch.
Water Popo.
No, I don't think it was. It might have been. It might have been. Well, I think it's probably got to be an A.
Yep, I reckon we chuck it up there. And again, when we relook at this list, there's a possibility it might get bumped up. But very solid unit. Definitely build that one. Okay. Now, we talked a little bit about randomness in general in the last one, and I told you I quite often don't necessarily like mons that are random, but there's some which can really screw things up a bit for people, and particularly attack order and what have you. And this is one of them. This is one of those ones that just basically goes, look, it's my turn. He's a queue jumper. That's what he is. He's the guy at the shopping center when you're checking out all your groceries, and he's like, no, I'm gonna go now. And you're like, no, that's my checkout. He's like, no, it's not your checkout. I'm gonna go first.
He's the guy when you're in line at the amusement park and just jumps in the cage right before you get in, and then they close the park and you don't even get to go.
And the guy doesn't even have fast pass. It's really annoying.
He doesn't even have a ticket to get in. He just jumped the fence.
So in light of this, we don't like how cheaty he is, but he probably has to get kudos, because I wouldn't do it. I'd feel a bit embarrassed jumping the queue like that. This guy has no shame.
Right.
So
he's another one of those mons that you can build with without a certain stat, that being speed. You can just max out everything else. Surprisingly, he doesn't quite do as good as you might expect.
Mm-hmm.
in the higher end of things, but
Yep.
I do think he will still have a place in RTA, simply for that ability to just kind of take a turn whenever he desires.
Absolutely. That's probably where he's going to be annoying, as is actually the last one we talked about. The Electromancer is going to be a bit of a beast in that kind of theme arena area. Where would you like to...
And you know what? While we're on that subject, I think we could actually bump the Electro up just because of his unique passive and
I
how
kind
strong
of...
he is against DC.
I was in two minds about that. I think that's probably about right. I think whether we do it now or we do it when we consolidate the lists, I thought it was probably going to happen. It's a beast.
Yeah.
But Fire Archon, yeah, where would you put this this very rude individual?
Yeah, rude for sure. Not as strong as you might think he would be. I'm probably gonna say B.
Yep. And sucked into him. That's what happens when you Q jump. You don't become meta. People don't like you and they don't use you anymore. The Fire IronFist.
Yes. A unit that I have not built, but I did pull her before she got her buff, so it's kind of one of those backlogged mons that's like, okay, now I need a builder.
Okay.
I've definitely seen people start to come around on her as well. Definitely usable. You know, she gives a shield with the immunity and the skill 3 now, which not too many 3-turn immunities, so that's pretty strong.
This unit, like it's definitely got utility, and the 3-turn immunity.
Well, here's the
absolutely.
thing, right? There's only so many power beans to go around, so you do have to be picky with your Nat 5s.
You do.
And it's like, if you decide you're gonna build the Water Doctor Evil, kind of it fills the same role, you know.
Yeah,
as this unit.
Like if you got one, you don't potentially need the other in a tearing hurry.
Right, and you know, if you have 0 power beans, it's not as useful to keep that immunity up all the time.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. But it's certainly, if you get lucky and your power beans feed into that skill, you can bring the cooldown down. And I know I've got a couple of mons where I'm like, right, the important one's got a cooldown. I'm going to move to the next one now because power beans are quite scarce.
Yep.
So where would you put this one? And obviously in light of the buff and all that type of stuff as well.
I mean, it's kind of tough for me to rate since I have no experience with it. It's at least a B.
Yep.
You could argue it's an A.
And this is where it could be very interesting. It's got the 42% fire HP lead as well, just like all of them have for their own respective elements. So yeah, I'm sure someone's going to pull this out in Theme Arena and Blitz. It's going to do some stuff which is super annoying, particularly with some tanky fire mons. It could make them even more annoying.
Yeah, there's definitely a handful of bonds that are going to have new life upon our RTA release, and this is probably going to be one of them.
Dude, like 42% extra HP on a fire bear, like that could be super annoying. Like
yeah,
like wow. So yeah, let's wait and see, but it can sit in B tier for the time being. Next we have okay, so this one is the one that we've talked about a couple of times now, the Fire Sphere Sage. Obviously very unique mechanic, very unique passive. A lot of people recognized it very early on to be very meta in a particular use. Those we've talked about with the Bookworms and the Water Turtle tank. So first question, I guess, is where do you put it, but also is it usable elsewhere?
Yeah, so it's basically just Arena and some guild versus guild. I've never heard of it being used anywhere else. I mean, it's so good at what it does. Nobody regrets building it. You know, it's like Triple S seems like it should be acceptable. You know. Okay.
It's the only reason I'm kind of hesitant. We'll chuck it there because I agree. I know where it's used, it's the only thing that can do what it does, and similar to like when you look at the Water Nurse being the only thing that it does, but it's so usable elsewhere. This one is not really usable in a lot of other areas. So I'm kind of thinking in its role.
I agree. Double S is probably better.
Yeah, well, once we consolidate the list, it'll be obvious. It's like, do you put it next to the Water Twinblade and next to the Water War Nurse? And my answer is no.
Right.
So that's even though we want to use that part of the list because we haven't actually had anything in that level yet. Obviously the Wisp will end up in there, but
of course.
But other than that, nothing has taken our fancy to that level. So let's continue. We'll see what happens. The Fire Joker. I'm going to have to look this one up. I haven't looked at it for a very long time.
I'll tell you a secret. I just looked them up as well because I looked ahead of the list. Yeah. And I realized I had no idea either.
Mate, this is great. It really does tell us that it could be heading for part of the list that we haven't populated at all yet, potentially. But obviously, again, like anything has a use, but it's just a matter of how usable is it and how much are people looking at it. Yeah, what did you learn when you looked it up?
Well, the thing I noticed is that I'm pretty sure the skill 3 is a contactless skill, meaning it doesn't hit anything, but it inflicts a 2-turn incurable on all enemies. So there could be some use for this unit, but again, it's been how long since he's been released, and I've never heard or seen anything about him. So, maybe not, but it's something to keep in mind, I suppose.
Yeah, like, again, some things just come out of nowhere to find relevance, just like we found with the Fire Ant Cannon. Yeah, if you can make this work, then you'll surprise all of us, and you'll take, basically it's not something that I have on my radar at all, ever. So yeah, let's chuck this into C tier and see if there's anyone who says, I've just found a use for it, you guys suck. Something like that would be fine.
Yeah, there's probably some PvE aficionado who's like, no, you don't understand, he's the one missing piece.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, they're all missing pieces to some other part of the puzzle, right? And if there's mods that you aren't using, and if there's mods you haven't pulled or what have you, suddenly things can just get relevance. So I'm not going to write that concept off, I just haven't found it yet. So yes. All right, the Fire Music Queen.
Fire Music Queen is extremely high base speed unit, and she has a strip and cooldown reset on their skill 3. So, that kind of speaks for itself. If you're taking first turn and you want to control the match, it's a great unit for that. The thing is, outside of a 4v4, it kind of doesn't have as much utility as it does in a 4v4 match. And so it can be kind of hard to use in 3v3 battles, but it's definitely got its place.
Yep. Yeah, you mentioned it's high base speed. Obviously, it adds 15 when it's 6-star. So if you're sitting there with it at 5-star and going, that's not that fast, it's because it adds 15. Then obviously, it is also an initiator type. So if you put it up 2 levels in the skill tree, it'll gain another 5 speed. So when you're talking about that speed, I think it's the 3rd fastest mon in the game. You've obviously got the Dark Pumpkin. Then I believe you also have the light, what's her name, String Maid. Then I think it's this one. If I'm not mistaken, there might be one sitting in there that I'm not sure. Oh, maybe one of the Rogmeows has gotten up there. I'm not sure. But yeah, this
it might be Tree Nurse or Tree.
Sphere Sage. They're not as fast. Tree Nurse and Tree Sphere Sage, I think, aren't quite as fast. But I think. Yeah, because that's got a 108, I believe.
It's right around those, yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, really high up there. And so yeah, if speed matters, and obviously you can probably tell from the way that I've been talking these last couple of videos, I might be a little bit speed obsessed. I definitely rate this mon. I think it's good, but again, it's not used everywhere. And despite the fact I've got mine geared very well, I don't use it a lot in territory. I've got a good defense that utilizes it. Once again, it's got a good HP lead, which is universal. The second skill is the same as the water one, which we covered in the last video, which has your defense down, incurable, and blind. So it does have utility beyond it, but only minimal. Like, it's not something that I'd be like, oh, I wish I had 5 of these. I just don't think I'd feed a dupe. So what it does well, and I use it every day. But is it triple S? No. Where would you put this?
I mean, probably around S.
And I'm
like
tempted,
you said.
Yeah, I'm tempted. The thing is, I understand it lives in S, but because I love it and use it so much, and this is where I kind of have to be unbiased a little bit. I would be tempted to put it into double S, but when I do assess it and I go, okay, what do I use it for? It's not something that I use in everything, and it is limited in its utility. It's just what it does really well.
Yeah. There's definitely like some LD5s that if you pull, you're like, okay, well, I'm building the Fire Queen now because it pairs well. But it's a good unit. Like you said, third fastest, I think, is actually correct because the Tree Nurse is 1 speed slower. It's
very fast. Yeah, it's a beast. I love it. I just love it. So I love the remove buff aspect, the decrease action bar. So like, even if they're on Zeal, as long as you've got accuracy on your fastest set, you're going to do all right.
All right, moving on.
Okay, so
Fire
Ghost Captain. Ghost Ship Fleet is obviously this is a damage dealer, right? So quite different to its 2 counterparts, its 2 RGB counterparts. Seldom do I use this. I have seen people use it though. Where do you put it? So
it does have a speed lead.
Mm-hmm.
It's only an 18 plus 18 speed lead, so it's not super strong. But I feel like this is one of those monsters that's just waiting for a new mon to release. That's just going to end up pairing super well with his kit. It does have a good amount of control, and the defense breaks are quite nice. So I think it definitely could find some use.
Okay, so being that it's a bit of an up-and-comer, who knows kind of concept, but you can see it having utility, you can see the potential, I guess is what you'd say. Where would you put it as it stands today in August of 2026?
I mean, it can't be higher than a B, but I don't know if it deserves a C. I don't think it does.
Okay, we'll chuck it in B. I think we'll do that. Look, it's one of those ones. And we'll just keep our eye on it. But yeah, I don't see a huge amount of... I see the opportunity as well with that skill set, but it's just not utilized. And I don't want to call everything a sleeper mon, otherwise it looks like we're building bunk beds for these mons in that kind of tier. But we basically, we probably would put it in that category where it's just waiting for something, whether it's content or a unit to pair with to give it synergy.
Yeah, B for bunk bed.
Absolutely. That's what it stands for, man. Very well picked up. So we got... am I turning you a bit ridiculous, man? It's usually me that's ridiculous. I hope I'm not turning you ridiculous as well.
That comes along with it.
The Fire Robo, and obviously it has to be good. It's got 23 on its hat, which means that it's essentially the Michael Jordan of this game. Where would you put it?
Well, he basically is the Michael Jordan. I mean, the first successful Mental Fortress team. He's still used in PvP.
Yep.
Quite a strong attack bar buff, plus immunity, plus speed, plus attack. Crazy. So.
And he can play baseball too, apparently.
You hear it? That's crazy. Oh man, I think this might be our first 4-star double S.
Okay. And look, I definitely see that too. It obviously has that that burn thing, so it kind of it likes helping others more than it likes helping itself, but that's fine. It's it's a really good unit. There's no two ways about it.
The reason it has the burn is just like the reason Jordan had to take a season off of basketball. You know, he's too good.
That's probably about right. That's what it is, man. It's and by the way, if Michael Jordan is watching this video, I just wanted to give a shout out to him. G'day, how's it going?
Thanks for watching.
It's like, yeah, we didn't know you played. He's like, I saw the hat, and so I started playing the game.
Quick tip for anybody that is wondering, in PvP. So if you have a Dark Bookworm, he is a perfect pair for him because Dark Bookworm needs at least 2 buffs out of attack, speed, and crit rate in order to automatically get the 3rd one and therefore ignore Lightmon passives with his passive. So he fills that role perfectly. He gives attack bar. He gives everything you need. And double S for sure.
Excellent. I'm glad you said that. Yep, good unit. No two ways about it. Fire Steelwings.
So I don't use him anymore.
Yep.
But I did build him entirely for my first Death Lab team.
Yep.
And he was very, very useful there. He's all the multi hits on skill 2 and skill 1, plus the incurable, which is very important. Brings along a heal and an attack up. So if you're struggling to get into Death Lab, I would definitely recommend him and the light Steelwings. They work very well together, and they will help you to be able to get through that boss passive with all the multi hits.
Fantastic. End game?
Yeah, end game, nothing.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So obviously build it if you're struggling with that content early days. But once you start moving on to mid to late, I think you won't use it all that much.
Yeah, I tried not to build him because I was like, the team just felt too slow.
Yes.
But like, you just want to get into Death Lab, it'll help. Just build him.
Absolutely. And Death Lab, in my opinion, is the hardest of the dungeons. In fact, I think I did the other 4 first and came back to that one, even though the order should have been the 3rd dungeon clear. It's got some tricky mechanics with the multi-hits and all that type of stuff. So if you can find something that helps you out in that team, and obviously we've identified 2, particularly in this tier list, which is the Fire Steelwings and the Fire Occult. I really do think build.
Yeah, I think you're right, because Death Lab is the one that it's really hard to maximize speed and luck without dying.
And if you die, you're gone, because he gets another, you have to keep everyone alive, and you can't even keep them alive with Immortal, because that still counts as a death, and then he comes back. It's just annoying as hell. So
So you got to build them super tanky and on luck, and that means it's really slow. So it is difficult to get into.
But it also means that it could be that that dungeon that you put on before you go to sleep at night. You're like, okay, cool. I'm gonna switch off my phone now. Chuck on Death Lab, go to sleep, and then in the morning you'll have 20 gears waiting for you.
Yeah, 3-minute runs or 20 minutes. That's an hour.
Exactly right. Your maths is fantastic. I said it again. Your math is fantastic.
My mathematics.
Your mathematics is fantastic. Okay, the Fire Pumpkin.
So this is that one unit that I brought up that there's 0 reason to use the water Clockwerk because this unit exists and it's better. So that's about it. But I still don't even recommend using him.
Look, it took me by surprise that you knew what this mon did and you knew its counterpart, because I find them both useless in a way. So I do not use either. Are we looking at a C tier here?
Yeah, I think so. I investigated every single dot unit. I love dot cleaves, and so I tried my best to do to put together what I could with that. And it's just not necessary to build them. If you're gonna dot cleave, you want a tree fairy, you want a dark witch, and you probably want a fire specialist.
Perfect. And that's the thing. Yim has built these mons so that you do not have to. That's the kind of value that he brings to the community. Don't build this one unless something compelling happens where it is needed. At the moment, particularly in early game, you just don't need it. There's a lot of other things to build first, put it that way. So moving right along, we know the Wisp. Let's just leave the Wisp there. In fact, I'll just bump it over here so that we don't get confused by it. We all know what we think about the Wisp. The Fire Wisp Catcher, though, where would we put this one on the list?
So this is one of the mons that in the beginning of the game, nobody knew anything. What's good, what's not. Mm-hmm. And I took a look at this and I was like, ooh, this looks like it could be really good.
Yep.
And so me and two buddies built it, and we tried everything we could to make it work, and it did not work. And we were like, well, there goes all that material.
And particularly early game, it's like when in the early days, everything is just clutch. You're like, oh, should I build this? And you're like, you don't. At that point, we didn't have green power beans, and you're like, I have to wait for more wisps to come. And obviously, the green one is fantastic. The fire one, the water one used in speed teams and what have you. The light one's amazing. The dark one's used in bits and pieces. So, what does the fire one do?
Well, see, we didn't know what the water wisp did back then. We should have saved all our skill ups for that. So the fire one did get a buff. His critical damage is increased by 100, which sounds really good. But then his skill 2, it just doesn't do as much damage as you'd hope for it to do. I'm still hoping he gets another slate buff. I'm not sure exactly what they should do to him, but like the 1 turn burn to a target is almost useless. It's got to be 2 burns if you're gonna do something.
Yep. Obviously, burn itself got a buff, right?
Yes, because burn can kill now.
Yep. Which makes it a bit more clutch. But again, 1 turn, and we do talk about this, the 1 turn, and you can try, you can obviously try and make reasons to use it, but if you have to start thinking about, we need something that elongates debuffs and blah, 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 there's so many other mons that you could use first. So, I kind of am with you. Never really had much interest in it. You've clearly used it a lot more than me. So, where does it go?
I'd say we put it in C and let somebody else figure out where it's good.
If you've done that much testing, I think you're probably, I think that we can safely say, don't build unless you're really bored. If you've kind of built everything and you're like, you know what, I'm going to give it a crack. But I think there's a billion units to build before this one. Okay, sure. Here we go. Fire Sorcerer. I actually have this Sorcerer. Yeah, a Sorcerer that I have. Fantastic. Because the water one, as you famously know, I do not have. But this one, I have.
Very nice. Well, I mean, you could probably use it in Tunnel. It could be helpful in Tunnel. Other than that, I don't know that there's too much use for him in PvE.
PvE. I think you might be right. I think if you've got, it's quite often people will be like, but it does that thing where it stops, an anti-death mechanic, not just for itself, but for another party member, and it gives either yourself 100% or your party member 50%, if I'm not mistaken. So that seems pretty OP, but then when you're building a team, the preference is to not have things die on you, right? So you really kind of, it's just taking up a slot for a safety net, which you shouldn't need if you're in most content, unless you're still kind of working on your gears. But in PvP, obviously, it has undeniable use.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it's ever present basically for offense and defense. So I think we got to put it in an S for that reason.
Yep, I think I'm with you there. That's that one I'm very happy to put in S tier. Okay, next on the list we have something that needs no introduction to most people who have it or don't and probably want it. The Fire Nurse.
Yep. And with this one, I think we can both comfortably say that it deserves the triple S.
Ooh. Yeah, look, I'm glad you said that, because as you know, I don't like arguing. But yeah, this is this is definitely a very good unit. I think most people would agree it belongs up there. Very usable, great sustain. What content is your favorite stuff to use this in?
Oh, well, I mean, just, guild versus guild, of course. It's airship and territory war. It's solid on offense and defense. You basically pair it with anything. It for offense, you can use it as a booster to treat bookworm things even. Yep. It has a very high base speed, so it's better than other boosters in that regard. So if you only need 50% attack bar, you don't need the full 100% boost, then this is a perfect unit for it. Gives you the attack buff, right?
Yes. It still does that unyield thing as well still, right? But just not for itself.
Not for itself, yep. That's correct.
So that's pretty OP. Like it keeps, it's a gift that keeps on giving, and this is still triple S despite the fact that it got an early nerf. I really rate this one. It definitely caters for most playstyles. Sometimes you go, oh, this is not my playstyle, even though I see the benefit. I don't see any playstyles that don't work for this unit. It's just a fantastic unit. It's going to be a beast when it comes to Theme Arena. Basically, if you pull one, you're lucky, because if you don't have one, you'll certainly miss it.
And if you pull a dupe, you'll probably keep it.
Entirely possible too. But those damn power beans, man.
That's the great thing, though. She doesn't need any. Yeah,
she does. And actually, similar to its the water sister, which I don't think we covered last time, you were saying keep the dupe. It doesn't necessarily need the power beans. Obviously, it's better with them. But yeah, to activate all the passive aspects and all that type of stuff, it doesn't. It does its job just fine.
I'd say one nurse skilled up is good. All the dupes can wait.
Yep, absolutely. And if we're playing this game for 10 years, then I'm sure we'll have multiples. Actually, we'll probably start feeding them in to stack them.
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay, this one. This one is definitely... I feel like it was in the meta, and then it was out of the meta, and then it was back in again. What do you think of the current position of the Fire Merc Mother?
I think she's actually kind of underrated in PvP. I know whenever people do use her and somebody notices, they're like, wait, what? How did you do that with her? So I think it's definitely worth trying out if you haven't for PvP. But at the same time, it's a staple for me, at least, in Mental Fortress. So she's on a very high luck build there, and I just leave her on that set, and I'm pretty happy with her because she does a great job there.
So just to understand, is that is it on the side with only 2 mons?
Correct. Yeah, it's one of the tankers.
Yep, that's great.
It's kind of confusing to me why fire works better than tree for this job, but it does. So yeah,
interesting. So it's kind of a little bit of PvE usage, quite a lot of arena you'll see it in, maybe the occasional territory war defense. It's not the most used mon, it's not the most OP mon, but it's definitely a pain in the bum, and as you said, people do underestimate it. Where would you likely put this one on the tier list?
Between B or A. I think it's got to be A because I think it's just so good in Mental Fortress.
And looking at the other mons that are in the A tier, obviously we've got things like Fire Barb, we've got the Fire Bear, and some people may argue for a bump up of that one potentially, but I think it's in good company here. I think it's possibly in the higher end of that, but yeah, I think I think A.
Yeah, I
is
think
good.
we might be bumping up Firebear at the end here.
Entirely possible, but hey, let's just say spoiler alert between those before those things, man. You know.
Right.
So Fire, you did touch on Fire Viking when we last did a video, and that was in regards to its healing, being able to be used with which one did you identify that?
Watermonk.
That's
Watermonk.
right. Yes. So yes, obviously it has utility. It's still quite new, so maybe some people still learning the ropes with it. So I guess two questions. The first being, how do you build it, and where would you put on the list?
Well, see, that's the thing. Not nobody, but people don't realize if you build it on Vamp, that stacks its passive. So you get a 5-stack passive much quicker when you're on Vamp. And so therefore, or even on Revenges, somebody attacks him, he Revenges, there's 1 stack.
Yes.
So Vamp Revenge is ideal, but any Vamp set is good. And the great thing about him is it doesn't matter what the Vamp stats are, because he doesn't actually need to have any stats for the S3 to pop off.
That makes a lot of sense. So pretty much, and in terms of slot 246,
doesn't matter, speed, HP, defense, anything.
Yep, gotcha. So
Just
reasonably
make tanky.
easy to build, and you have to just make him tanky. And obviously, that's the benefit of your slot 4 and slot 6 for the newer players. HP and defense exist on both. So if you can't find that combination on your 4 and 6, find it on your 6 and 4. Just switch them around.
Yep.
And your happy days. So look, given that it's easy to use, it's quite a union. It's got Nat 5 stats, of course, which is always a benefit. They always tend to get bumped up a little bit for that reason. But yeah, and the stacking's easier than some of his brothers, like in terms of stacking those runes. So given that, where do you put him?
Yeah, 0 PvE use, but I mean, there's no defense use either, so it's just offense. Basically a one-trick pony countering healers. I think it's got to be A.
Yep, okay. I'm happy with that, and yep, that's that can sit right there. And again, when you say only A, we're looking at the company that has in A tier, and it's actually got some pretty decent company, so it's not a bad mon.
For sure.
Here's a mon which I'm very familiar with because I used it early game. I think I told you I pulled it very early on first day or something, and I was just like thrilled because I had my first Nat 5. It was usable, it was great at farming, but most people were using the water Gyreleon by that stage, and I'm just continuing to use the fire thing because I was so happy I'd pulled it. Obviously, if you pull one early game, you're going to be pretty happy with this mon, and it does have some interesting mechanics like the increased cooldown and that same skill 2 as the tree one. But yeah, as you start to move along the game, it perhaps has a little less utility. Where do you put this mon?
Yes, so early game, like you said, it might actually carry you through some tunnel. You can use it as a farmer, clear story with it. Very good unit to pull early. Then mid game, it's going to drop off a little bit, but then end game it becomes extremely strong because everyone has so much HP on all their mons that he basically gets that bonus damage against everybody, as long as you build him with a little bit of HP, of course. And so he's basically become one of the best nukers in end game.
Well, that's great to hear because I haven't been using him at all in that way. And obviously I don't experience that many matches in that top tier kind of level in Territory War. So yeah, that's encouraging to hear because I put beans into him and everything. Where does he exist on the list then? So he's kind of like early game and late game and mid game. You probably don't use him as much.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly can in mid game. It's just you're gonna gravitate towards other damage dealers.
Probably because of his gear X, I'd imagine, like in terms of the gear requirements. If you're trying to build HP on him as well, like it's not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, and he kind of needs he needs a defense break setup, but in end game, or in mid game, you're gonna end up running into Zeal and stuff, and it's not gonna work. So it's it's kind of an interesting mon in that regard, but I would probably say S.
Okay, excellent. I'm happy to put that guy there. He's I don't think he's as strong as his tree brother, or maybe not as much utility as his tree brother, but we'll see. I'm going to check him out again, have a bit of a go. As I said, he's all beamed up, so he's ready to rock and roll.
All right.
So yes, this next one, the Fire Fairy, I think it tends to be underestimated. It's been buffed numerous times. Do you remember how many times it's been buffed?
Yeah, it's received 4 buffs. It's the most buffed unit in the game, I believe.
Yeah, wow. That's a little bit nuts. So it obviously wasn't working at some stage. It got a pretty bad name for itself early on. But good news is it did get buffed. The question is, does it have relevance in the meta? Is it kind of usable in some areas, and is it actually clutch for anyone yet?
Yeah, so I actually do have it built, and I do use it occasionally.
Yep.
Not often, but I do find some use in arena. It's got a weird skill 3 where it's sacrificing its own HP.
Yes.
And then it does more damage based on lost HP. So if it takes a hit from something like Watermerc, then it's low HP to begin with. And then it sacrifices even more HP, and so it does more damage. The problem with that is that if it takes a debuff from Watermerc, you're either stunned or provoked. So you kind of have to account for stuff like that. So it can do sneaky damage, but you need the right setup for it.
And that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, I feel like it's only when it's underestimated that it comes in handy. Like, if you've got it sitting somewhere, it just surprises me sometimes. But the reason it surprises me is because I don't expect much from it. So it can't be on a particularly high tier, but it's clearly better than what it was. I think it was sitting in D tier prior. So and we haven't even built a tier for that. So that's how bad it was. Where does it sit now?
I'd say it's worth the B.
Yep. Okay. Nice. It's climbing the ladder, and that's the important thing, It's getting better, it's improving all the time, and that's what we like to see.
Just one more buff.
That's right. Okay, the next monster we're looking at is the Fire Psychosurgeon. Now, this is quite a well-known commodity. What do you think of this one?
Well, it has Oblivion, and there's very few mons with Oblivion, so it's going to be rated highly because that's a very, very useful debuff. Mm-hmm. Takes out the enemy's passive. There's no real PvE except for maybe a tunnel stage here or there where you need more than one source of Oblivion, particularly the 5 barb level stages, as I'm sure people have noticed. Because when you run into them, it's usually like a brick wall.
I sure have.
Just looking at the tier, I think it actually bumps them up to SS.
I was wondering if you might say that, and I certainly wouldn't object to that. I think, he's definitely...
He's just so good at his job, He's got a defense break, he's got speed-based damage, so you can even build him with some damage, and he stays tanky, so very useful to have.
Absolutely. Let's put him up there. That sounds fantastic to me. Okay, well, moving on to the next one. This one's a Nat 4. This is the Fire Witch. Now, I know that you're a big fan of the Water Witch. What do you think of this Fire one?
So, I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Fire one, but strictly for high damage Abyss comps. So if you look in the highest scored in the guide when you go to Abyss, you'll see that she is in just about every single team because she does a ton of damage with her S3. So if you check it out, it's basically it's perfect for boss slaying because the S3 does. It increases damage by 50% if the target's immune to damage over time. So that's all bosses, obviously. Well, not all of them. The dungeon bosses, excluding them, but all the Abyss bosses. So that's a 50% extra damage for free. And she does 2 attacks that also increase damage by 30% for each debuff. So you can imagine that does a lot of damage on a boss.
It sure sounds like it. And I must point out, this is, again, one of the great things about Element Fission in general is the transparency, is the fact that you can check out other people's runs, and you can even categorize them. You can check out which are the fastest or which have the best luck in terms of dungeons. And yeah, that's a really easy way to get a leg up, particularly if you're a newcomer and even mid-game and you're addressing some new content, some content you hadn't unlocked or hadn't had access to prior. To be able to see that stuff is just fantastic. It's the only game that I know that does that to the level that it does. So I'm really stoked about that. And obviously we probably wouldn't have learned about the power of the Fire Witch or any of the units at the speed that we have been able to without that transparency, and that goes for Territory War as well.
Yeah, and another thing a lot of people don't know is that you can actually tap and hold on those dungeon teams that are ranked, and you can see just exactly how they're geared and what their gears look like.
Fantastic. It's just excellent stuff. It really is. So in light of that, the Fire Wicked Witch, where do you put it?
Yeah, so looking at A, I think it clears everything in A. So I think this should be an S.
Whoa. Okay, mate. Let's chuck it into S. Let's chuck it right there.
It's probably not. Look, I don't know for certain because I was already past early game when it was released.
Yep.
So I don't know if it's worth building early game. Maybe we can get some input on that in the comments. But end game, mid game, when you're really trying to pump the numbers on your Abyss teams, this is the perfect mon to build for that. So.
And that's right. I guess it's when something is best in slot, which it is, you kind of need to pay it the homage that it deserves. So I think S tier is appropriate. Yeah, and it probably is a bit like the Fire Bookworm in that regard. You know, it's the best at what it does. Sure, it's not got every single use, but it's definitely something that you should build. But as you say, early game, possibly not. Yeah, so maybe hold off on that one if you're in your first few weeks of playing, but it will become useful. So if you have already built it and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have built it, there will be a time in which it becomes very relevant for you. So the next one on the list is the Fire Giant, of course a 3-star. How would you go about explaining this beast?
Yeah, so Fire Giant is one of those mons that you kind of just forget you have after you had him for a while. He's actually surprisingly good. He attacks the enemy 5 times with his skill 3, and it's HP based damage, so that's always very easy to build for. And he has a 20 to 40% chance to ignore the target's defense, and if you don't know, ignoring defense means very good damage. So you can get unlucky, you can not ignore any, or you can get very lucky and ignore all 5. But I kind of like to counteract that uncertainty by building him on ambush, which gives a flat amount of defense ignoring on every hit, even if he doesn't proc. So that's how I like to remedy that situation. Now, unfortunately, he does have very low base speed, but as a nuker, that's not so important. He does have I think he's a very good unit, very usable in 12-star and no nat 5 towers. I think we would want to rate him fairly highly, but not super high. So probably like an A.
Yep, gotcha. Definitely usable. And as you say, like those HP based damage dealers, they're easier to build early game as well, because if you're trying to build something with attack, then you kind of miss out on HP because you don't quite have the gears yet to be able to build something tankly as well as having high damage. When I say early game, as someone who has passed level 35 or whatever the criteria is to meet territory wars, I think you'd probably start using it in that kind of area for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has a heal and a cleanse on the skill 2, so that helps even more with survivability. And it's an AoE heal, so.
That sounds like a build to me. Next on the list, we have this family, which we seem to be fans of most of them. The Sky Police, the Fire Sky Police, it seems to do a lot of damage. It's obviously got the defense-based aspect to it, which means that it's not the same as every other mon. It means you don't have to build it the same way. Yeah, love to hear what you think about this one.
It does have a speed lead, so that's useful. You know, if this is your only speed lead, you might as well be building it then. Defense damage dealer, like you said, so it's not using up damage dealer rune gears that other mons want, you know. So that's always useful. I think it's a great mon to build. Unfortunately, it's a little random with that skill 3.
Yes.
You can just kind of go anywhere.
Yes.
So it's better to be used against a lower number of opponents, so 3 rather than 4. So that way you can kind of guarantee more hits into the same target. And sometimes you just need a fire nuker that's not the fire giant.
Well, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Well, so here's the thing, right? Because fire giant can be corrupt. His HP can be corrupted with the corrupt set. So in a long fight, his damage will go down. Whereas with the Fire Sky Police, that she doesn't have that issue because it's defense-based damage. So something to think about.
That's really interesting, actually, because obviously, for those who aren't aware, and particularly in the mid to end game, there's 2 areas that become particularly important, and that is resistance, and then as a result, the corrupt meta. I would go as far as to call it a meta. And so corrupt, for those who don't know, it gets rid of a certain amount of HP every time it attacks, and therefore that's why the giant's attack goes down and down if his HP is being corrupted. So that's a really interesting point that you make about the Sky Police. So where would you put this one on the tier list?
I would say A.
Yep, excellent. So say someone's sitting there early game and has both of these units, which one would you build first?
That's tough. Probably, if no speed lead, the Fire Sky Police.
Yep.
But it is easier to skill up the giant.
That's true. That's very true. And you kind of forget that as you know, a mid to late gamer, you do start to get a lot of Nat 4 counterparts because you summon so often, and you get the lightnings. But obviously, those green power beans are really, really helpful early game. And obviously the Sky Police, you wouldn't necessarily want to waste on that. There's families where you need them more, and I'm thinking specifically about the Bookworms. They're really like,
right.
I think the vast majority of my green power beans have gone into the Bookworm family. So basically that's probably a very good point. Like a fully skilled up 3-star is quite often going to perform better than a non-skilled up 4-star.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, next we have the Firestring Maid. I don't really use it, I'm afraid. Do you use it very much?
So I used to use it a fair amount, and I'll tell you exactly what for. I used it against Dark Monks.
Okay.
With 2 domes, so usually the fire and the tree one.
Yes.
Dome fighters. And so what that does is the skill 3 gives you a defense buff.
Yep.
But it hits the enemy, so it doesn't proc the Dark Monk passive and put silence on somebody. So it allows you to double dome without getting interrupted. Another thing is, people do like to use this to take first turn on arena defense. At 6-star, it gains plus 15 speed, so it goes from 95 to 110, which is fairly high for a booster.
Yes.
And it does have that AoE skill 3, so it can be built on bash and do some work.
Absolutely. That's a very fast mon right there, and it will fill whatever you've got as as your attacker, if that is indeed your slowest speed mon.
Yep. So I'm thinking probably B.
Excellent. Yep.
It has a use. It's just not ever present.
Indeed. Fire Ripper. Now, this is again a bit of a misunderstood mon from time to time. I think most people know it's strong, I think a few people kind of might have paid attention to the fact that it's got a healing aspect. They just think of it as a damage dealer at first, because that's probably how they've built it, and kind of forget it has that sustainability on it. And obviously that makes it very valuable in longer matches, such as the Colossus I'm thinking of. How do you rate this mod?
This has got to be one of the best Fire Nat 4s. So much PvE use, so much PvP use. That speed lead for guild battle is fantastic. It's a staple for me. I use it with the Water Ant and the Light Sky Police. Like you said, that healing gives it just enough healing for things to survive for a little bit longer in case things don't go perfectly well. And it has a great damage output.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And yeah, look, I can't speak highly enough of this mod. It's a great one. Where would you put it?
Would you agree with Double S?
You know, it's hard to think of I can't think of a reason to not put it in that Double S tier. I think, look, obviously once we amend the lists and we start looking at them, it may get bumped down depending on other monster in the Double S tier. Yeah, I think chuck it in Double S. We'll have a look at the end of the lists when we do that big consolidation. But I think it's a very good mod, and yeah, it just has utility all throughout, beginner all the way through to the end. So really, it's I think it's earned a place there personally.
Absolutely.
Okay, this one I'm not even really very familiar with. I don't think I've built it. Let me have a look. But it's called it's the Fire Dino. So it came along. It was one of the mods that was released after the initial release of the game. I think it was a few months later. Have you had much experience with the Fire Dino?
So I have still yet to build this, but again, it's one of those mods that's on my list. I got a long list apparently. But it was popularized by two players I know. Shout out to Reverse and JoJo. They both built this pretty early on, and they raved about it. Okay. I remember JoJo got like so many defense wins in Arena just by having this guy on his team with a fairly innocuous team around him.
Yep. And
he would just solo, because people didn't know what he did and they just would expect him to be easy. But then he tanked everything that they threw at him and killed him in return. Because if you look at his passive,
yep,
for all the HP that he's lost,
yes,
he does extra damage based on that HP. And if he kills an enemy, he gains a revive. So if he kills one of your mons and you try to kill him the next turn, he's just going to revive again, and he's going to be on low HP, and he's going to absolutely smack.
That could be highly annoying if you're able to utilize that passive well. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yep. This is news to me. So I guess given that it's a little niche, I mean, this is the tricky thing, right? When something becomes meta, everyone pays attention to it. Everyone works out a counter to it. So one of the big benefits of this mod is that it's not meta. It flies under the radar, and people don't know how to counter it. So given that aspect, where would you chuck it on the tier list?
He is niche. Yep. No PvE use.
Yep.
So I think we got to put him in B. But again, just because he's in B doesn't mean he's bad.
Absolutely. And if you can think of neat and creative ways to use these things, I mean, that's how you win matches, and you keep moving your mons around and you keep confusing people. If you've got the same defense on arena defense for weeks in a row, obviously, like, it's the same thing. People go, oh, I've worked out a way to beat that one, and then you get hammered. So yeah, absolutely, switch it up, try different things.
Absolutely.
This is that Spyder family again. So this is obviously 3 stars, released much later in the game. Yeah, do you use the fire one?
So I don't use the fire one. I know that Bagel, he kind of popularized this.
Yes. I remember watching the video and just thinking, oh man.
Yeah, this is a classic Bagel mon, isn't it? Just something to be annoying and weird.
He's probably watching this video. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's all to do with the
he
burrow,
has
right?
Yeah. He has a unique skill, Burrow, where he drills into the ground and you can't target him anymore. And then he applies a 1-turn stun and counterattacks each enemy's action. So it's with a 20 to 40% chance. So it's kind of weird, but if it works, it can be very annoying.
Yep.
Just stunning the enemy every turn. He also heals while in that burrow.
Yes.
And just a very odd mon,
Yep.
I don't see him a lot. He doesn't really have any PvE use, so kind of hard to rate him highly on here. But I think we could put him in B.
Yep, I think so. I've just seen what's on our list next, yeah. It's, of course, this is the fire specialist, and I think that if it's not on your most wanted list, it's because you already have it. So, yeah, where would you put this one, mate?
Oh, man, I chased fire specialist for over 6 months. I wanted this mon so much. I believe it actually took a nerf before I even got it. Yep. And it was still amazing when I got it.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
That just shows you how useful it is. Got the speed lead.
Yep.
It's got the dots, so it's essential basically for any dot comp.
Yeah.
Very low cooldown on the skill 2. Skill 3 or the passive is extremely useful.
Yes.
Just for applying some extra damage while staying tanky.
Yep.
Great mon. Yeah.
And that strip is actually on the passive, and I think that's why they had to nerf it. I think it used to strip up to 3, and now it does 2, or something along those lines. The fact is, the skill 1 still strips, and obviously you've already built accuracy into it, so it's what a beast. I really, really like this one.
And if you hit it with a buff,
yes,
it still strips when not its turn. It's crazy.
It's just not fair. That is.
It's got a lot going on. Yep.
I think there's a lot of people who use their fastest accuracy kind of set on this mod. It's quite often built on Swift, but not always.
Yeah, fastest bash or fastest Swift, very common.
Yep, absolutely. Do I have to ask you where you're going to put this one?
I don't think we do. No, I think you know.
Okay. C tier. Oh no. Okay. Sorry. I meant triple S. Awesome. Excellent. Look, it belongs up there. It's bloody good. Okay. The next on the list got a buff. It actually got a bit of a change, I feel. Like it got a...
Oh, it got a complete rework. Yeah, for sure.
I think it wasn't particularly great prior. And now I'm... This monster is very tough to deal with and just really fun to use. Yeah. How do you rate this guy?
So I actually thought he was a little underrated before the rework, but I think he needed at least a buff. So the rework was warranted. But regardless of that, he's extremely strong now.
Yep.
Some people might even think he needs a nerf now, but I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
He's a great mon. You build him with a lot of attack, and it's very hard to actually hit him.
Yep.
Because he increases his glancing rate extremely high then. So
and gets attack bar, right?
No. Yeah, and then he gains attack bar if you glance on him. So
which is just ludicrous. Like, that is just so annoying. Look, he used to be a really easy beat in tunnel.
Right.
And now you're just like, oh god, not this level again.
Yeah, he's one of those tunnel bosses that you don't want to run into. I will say, if you're struggling with him in tunnel, find somebody with a dark specialist rep, and that should basically solo it. So.
Yep, absolutely. But we are talking about an LD5, which is hard to get, that takes down a standard RGB 5. So it's a beast.
Yeah. So I'm thinking A.
Whoa.
But hold on. but I'm willing to go S.
Yep.
So I think that's probably fair. He's being used in a lot of defenses right now.
Yes.
Not the easiest thing to counter.
Yes. And Nat 5 stats. We talked a little about the criteria at the beginning. You know, Nat 5s do get a bit of a bump because the stats are higher and all that stuff. Look, I'd very comfortably have this in the S tier and possibly even the higher end of the S tier. When I look at the mons there, it's just fantastic. So and I didn't used to be. It didn't even have it beamed up prior, and then I was like, this really deserves it. So yeah, let's chuck it in that S tier. And next we have Fire Turtle Tank.
So Fire Turtle Tank is one of those mons that people kind of just don't even think about.
Yep.
He does have a use in a dome compilation, so you can he gives a defense up on the skill 3.
Yep.
He also grants stealth for all other allies,
which is really interesting, right? That's that's kind of in. I don't know of anything else that grants stealth on your allies.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I feel like there might be one, but it's not coming to mind now. But yeah, so a 2-turn stealth is very useful. Instead of boosting, attack bar, it gives the stealth. So that could be useful in certain situations where you don't want to boost. Not very present other than that one use situation. So I think we're probably gonna have to go with a B.
Sure. Yeah.
But he does have a use.
Can you see it? Can you see using it with the water bear if it was on Swift?
That's an interesting idea. You probably could do that.
New video.
Sounds like something you're gonna try.
Why the hell not, mate? Okay, the Fire Annihilator, and this is the thing, it might be a bit of a misunderstood unit. I think, I like the light one, like the water one. It must be, to do with damage. After all, it's called an Annihilator. I think it's a pretty unique mechanic. So, increase the action bar by 100% of a target ally, so it's a filler, which means it's initiator. Afterwards, grant 3-turn attack up to those allies with higher attack power, and grant 3-turn defense up to those with higher defense power. So, it basically identifies what type of damage dealer or what type of mons you've got in the team and gives it relative buffs. So if you've got a Sky Police in your team, it's going to give it a defense up. If you've got another like the Water Annihilator in your team, it's going to give it an attack up.
Yeah, so basically it's an improved version of a Hog Chef boost. It gives you the 100%.
Yep.
But it also grants all allies the attack up or defense up. So it's versatile in that way.
Yep.
I believe it's faster than all the hogs with the initiator +5.
I think you're right. It's got the base speed of 96.
Yeah. So this is another mon that's been on my list to build, which I actually should be building today.
Yep.
I'm running story in the background.
I love it. Yeah, I just love the fact that you can use it with stuff and it just automatically kind of identifies, what is the relevant buff for it rather than going, everything needs attack up. It's very clever in that regard. I quite like this.
Yeah, so it's definitely one of those mons that you got to build eventually, but probably not going to build right away because it's not super versatile for other comps. It's basically just nuking comps. But yeah, I think this is a good unit.
Yep.
I think we got to go A.
I think A is good. Yeah, absolutely. And
now I know I said it. I know I said it's better than the Hog Chef boost, but Fire Hog Chef has other use than just boosting for a nuke because of that passive with the heal and cleanse.
You're right.
So I think there's slightly different situations where one would be better than the other.
And it's also the same Light Hog Chef, famously Speed Lead, but also Revive on it as well. So they've all got their different things, don't they? They bring different things to the party. But basically they all belong there at the party. All right, we've got a Nat 5 next on the list, and obviously, as mentioned before, this is completely randomly generated. It's just all over the place. But yeah, the Fire Vanguard.
Right, so a bit overshadowed by her tree sister, but a lot of people are recognizing that the fire one's pretty cool.
Yep.
It has AoE burn, which there's not too many mons with AoE burn, and it's a 3-turn burn, which I believe is the highest turn burn a unit there is. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
It also has speed down and seal, seal is a great debuff.
Oh, it's annoying. Yep.
And it can also absorb attack bar. So, and it's an HP based damage dealer. It's like, oh my word, it has so much.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's just on the skill 3.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, what a beast. What a beast. I regret to say I do not have this on my main account yet. I do have it on my alt account, therefore I have been able to play and muck around with it, and definitely want it on my main account. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how people utilize this more, because the obvious one in the family that was straight away very good was the tree one. But yeah, I think people are starting to cotton on that this is pretty good. But yeah, I guess the next question is, where would you put it on the list?
Yeah, that's I mean, I guess you could use it in Tunnel. I don't know that people are doing that yet, but
don't call it a sleeper, man. You're about to call it a sleeper. Don't call it a sleeper.
I think people are waking up to it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. Look, I could actually understand that it would be a sleeper. So yeah, are you thinking A tier at this stage?
Yeah, I'm thinking A tier.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yep.
It might even move up in the future, depending on how people start utilizing it. But yeah, I think A is pretty good for it right here.
I think so too. And once again, HP based. It's just not too hard to build. So if you get it as a new player, be pretty happy with yourself and build it. Now I know the next one. I know you're in love with the water one. How do you feel about the fire Rogmeow? It's got some pretty interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, Firecat is very interesting because, let me take a look at it right here, because the skill 2 chooses who you get an escort from.
Yep,
which
for example, the Fire Vanguard. You could quite easily do that.
Exactly, and that would be good because it's an HP damage dealer, so it's tanky.
Yep.
So it's very, very unique, you know? I've never seen another mon that can choose who they get escorted from, so that's pretty cool. The skill 3 does multi-hit damage with 3 different debuffs, so that's pretty strong too. Now, unfortunately, because of how strong I noticed the water one was, and the LD ones for that matter, I haven't gotten around to building the fire one yet, but again, another one on my list to build just to try it out.
Yep. This was the first one I built, and I think the reason I built it and I was in a hurry to build it was because there was an event on celebrating the release of the new units, and one of the milestones was to make one of the Rogmeows into a 6-star. So I did 6-star it. But yeah, look, obviously then I went, oh, the water one's really good and stuff. But yeah, this definitely has its utilization as well, and it's a fun thing to play with. I wouldn't necessarily be building it as one of my first mons on a new account, but yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. Where would you put this one?
Like I said, I haven't built it yet, but I think B's probably the right place for it. What do you think?
That's exactly where I was going to say. I think it's a B tier.
All right.
And again, B tier is still very buildable, usable. So yeah, absolutely. B is where it belongs.
B for buildable.
What was it for last time? I thought it was B for something else. It was B for bunk beds.
Or the sleeper units.
So buildable bunk beds, triple B, it is.
Yeah.
Excellent. It sounds like an IKEA thing. Next we have the Fire Samuroar, and this has got some really interesting stuff going on, mostly because it's a controllable sheath, if that makes sense. That sheath mechanic definitely can build. I think I was discussing this once with Cephas, and he had some very interesting things to say about it after testing it. So I'm just interested to know what you think, where's its utility, and just how much damage can it deal?
I'll tell you what, man, this is my current most wanted unit.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, I'm not missing very many. I'm missing 1 fire, 1 tree, And well, I just today I pulled one of the water units I missed, so only 2 water units now. But I really want this unit. I wanted it since I read its skills on release, and unfortunately I got the tree one. But I like the tree one.
The tree one's cool too.
Yeah, but the fire one, man, he is so good. Preventing revives. He's got some sustainability, increasing his defense. And healing from damage dealt. Just pumps out so much damage. It's like, oh my, what more could you want from a single target nuker?
Yep, absolutely. Again, though, like in this particular instance, we're not talking about something that's got utility everywhere, but it does have some PvP and some PvE, undoubtedly. This makes it a confusing one, particularly if neither of us have actually pulled it and been able to muck around with it. So where do you think this belongs on the tier list at this particular juncture?
Yeah, I think there could be some tunnel stages where if you're struggling with some revive units, that this would just instantly help you out. But other than that, can't think of too much. There might be, it might be good against some Abyss bosses. Again, I don't know because I don't have it, but I do know that it is very, very strong in Guild vs. Guild. I would be leaning towards double S, but I can't say for certain because I haven't built it. So probably just S for now. It is somewhat new. The most recent release, so.
Absolutely. Look, this might move up or down depending on what people find about it. I don't think it's going to move down.
No.
I think it's going to be at least in the S tier, but a little bit of an untested commodity. So really happy to have that sitting there. How could we forget this unit? It's an absolute beast of a unit. It is a very unique mon, basically used in, I guess you'd probably call it mid to late game, but even kind of in those earlier stages. But yeah, the tricky part is that you have to have 65% luck built in on this, and that's not the easiest thing to do, particularly for an early gamer, and particularly if you're trying to make it survive. But yeah, once you've got it built, you will be using it all the time, every day, once you're at that kind of early to mid game level, and it remains relevant throughout. So yeah, look, we're talking Abyss, Colossus, anything, it just sits there. And the great thing is with those types of dungeons like the Abyss dungeon, it already has built-in luck as part of its mechanics, so you've got some free luck there without having to try and artificially put it in. And you need survivability. It is going to go up against watermons, so you do need that aspect to it, but it helps your mon survive. It buffs them. It's just it buffs their attack. It's just such a clutch unit. So I think, what do you think?
SS.
Yeah, double S, absolutely. It is an absolute beast. It goes up there, and it certainly belongs there. Like, there might even be some people arguing it should be in triple S, but look, let's put it in double S. But yeah, build it, but it certainly don't. You might see it sitting there in your S tier, in your double S tier, but it's not a build straight away mon. It's not like I've just started the game, I'm going to build it. No, definitely not. Build your water gyro first. But yeah, as you start to move along, and particularly once you get that tree gunslinger, you will definitely find yourself needing a fire clockwork. So I think that's pretty much that. Double S is where it's sitting. So now, I think what we usually like to do at this stage, the Wisp is still sitting down there because we argued about that last time, so we've decided to never talk of it again. We're looking at the tier list now in its entirety, the fire tier list, and it looks pretty good to me, but there's possibly a thing or two that might need to be bumped up or down. Can you see any obvious ones there?
Let's take a look.
I'm just looking at that A tier, and I can tell you, like, for a new player, all of those A tier units, they're just so usable and so buildable. I think they're just fantastic. So, I'm thinking specifically things like Firebear, the Fire Dome Fighter. Like, these are things that you're going to pull pretty quickly because, they're 3 and 4 stars. The Fire Hog Chef, the Fire Occult Dancer is really good in Death Lab. So really, you've got yeah, the A tier is just so usable and so good for so many things, and I value territory. So yeah, just and obviously you've now had a little bit of a chance to think about it. What do you think? Can you see anything that's obvious there?
Yeah, I think you're probably right that Fire Bear, Fire Dome, and Fire Hog Chef. I think those three could use the bump up to S. Okay. Yep. And that Fire Dome, you'll never regret building it. I think I may have mentioned already, I think I've built 4 of them. They're just so usable so often, particularly when it comes to territory. So yeah, that's a definite build you won't regret. And yeah, Hog Chef, again, I've built multiples. Fire Bear, I've built multiples. So really, yeah, look, I'm a little biased in that I don't want to regret my life if I built multiples of them and they're crap. So, so yeah, put him in S, please.
Looking at S, I actually think Fire Gunslinger might deserve to go down. Are you gonna hate me for that one?
Oh, gee, that's a big call.
So here's
yep.
My thought process is that late game it doesn't have as much use, and it's not that needed.
Okay.
It's basically just for guild bosses at that point.
Okay, so guild boss is truly the only place that you're using it now?
Correct. Now, there might be some use in tunnel still, but I feel like it's probably outclassed.
I don't use it in tunnel, yeah. Look, as an early gamer, the problem is, okay, so this is part of the issue of criteria that we've talked a little bit about, why we wanted to qualify criteria, is that an early game mon can fade away into insignificance, and I think specifically say of the water gyro. We do have the water gyro from the previous list sitting at S tier, because...
All right, well then, you know what? For that reason, I think he can stay then. Because, you're right. It's one of those mons that's going to drop off a bit, but early game, very useful for you.
Yep, absolutely. Now, obviously, for those who love this unit, please send me fan mail. I'll send my PO box at the bottom of this link. But look, honestly, I really do think it's a very clutch mon early on. But I do get your point. I really do get your point, because you know, I'm at a stage now where I'm using the guild bosses all the time, and so I'm thinking, yes, I'm so glad I've got this. I've actually built 2. But yeah, again, like, did I actually need to build 2? I think at that stage I did. Perhaps not so much anymore. So I guess, yeah, it's one of those things. It's just super, super, super helpful, and then its usability kind of starts to drop off a little bit. But you certainly wouldn't regret building one, put it that way. And so, in terms of anything in B tier, can you see anything in B tier that might need to be bumped? I think personally we're pretty good in B tier, actually.
Honestly, maybe the Fire Ant. I know we talked about how he's new, but he's really useful for the new dungeons.
Yeah, B does seem a little low, doesn't it, now that we're kind of looking at it?
Yeah, it kind of does.
All right, look, you've twisted my arm. I think we do it. Let's chuck that into A tier. You make a very good point. Excellent. All right, so that is the tier list as it stands. If you've got some of those triple S's and double S's, if you've already pulled them, well done. They're great units. But again, in this game, everything has quite a relevance in the game. It's just about working out where it sits. So yeah, thank you once again for joining us with this tier list, and we look forward to doing the next one. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you take a look at this list, there's 3 units in C tier where we're basically recommending there's no reason to build them. That's pretty good for a whole element. That's pretty good.
Absolutely. So this has been a lot of fun to make this tier list, actually, I must say. So thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the merge tier list looks like after we do the tree.
Absolutely, absolutely. Alrighty, well, over and out, and back to you, Childish.